what do I think about each of these detachments? Some came out more than others on top, but we'll say Bully Boyz, you would think Ghaz damage. Now, some people would think, what I mean by that, I don't just mean the 20-man unit of mobs paying a pain wall. There is an argument for I'm bringing Nobz so that I can actually punch out an enemy unit and do re-roll hits and have this super hypersonic, missile nuclear warhead that goes off for my Nobz and Bully Boyz, because that's something Bully Boyz do not have right now, right? Bully Boyz right now, they have, well, we'll hit you with the wall, but we're not really that killy. There's a good chance you survive and then you get to get a comeback on us, right? So that being said, it's like, well, in this case, now Ghaz can end up bringing his potential at least multiple times and be exciting. So then we move to there's more options than that, right? In Bully Boyz, I shouldn't have moved on, but there's still Snick Rot because you're going to be paying more towards a pain wah. You're possibly going to use Snick Rot for that. Your Maz came down. Your Beast Boss and Squiggly came down. So if you were running it with Squighog Boys, you would get that as well. So nice going on here, right? Because typically a pain wall, if you didn't know, would be Squigs and Mans, or like Mega Nobz or Mega Nobz and Boy Brick. Being able to just now be able, like, I'm gonna incorporate Ghaz into one of these is freaking awesome. Then we go to Dread Mob, the return of the Lootas, right? At least for the one unit that would ignore cover, you don't have to pay that really annoying tax. And there was a weird one-off build that was, hey, I would bring a lot of Lootas, maybe even 30 of them. Do I still think that's something? Not really. Meta's kind of moved on from that, but there is an argument, and at least it didn't get caught in the cost fire. And of course, the shock attack guns came down. And if you stick Ghaz in a, let's just say Ghaz in a Big Mek, and you're playing Dread Mob, well, then in that case, you've inherited the button, right? But you're critical 5+ already, and you have Makari. Well, that means you're going to choose the button, and you're going to choose sustain. That means now you're going to be pseudo Warhorde in Dread Mob with your Ghaz and 20 boys. So now this 20-man unit of boys with a Big Mek and Ghaz are going to be +1 hit, +1 wound, critical 5+, sustain 5+, lethal. Boom, bam, right? Dread Mob typically is like, we got guns, we got maybe mech guns, walkers, tank busters, we're not really sitting in that mid-table and banging it out until you're diminished. Well, in this case, it's like, well, I'll just throw these 20 Gitz at you, and possibly pay for the man enhancement for -1 to hit on stealth. Let's go. So not saying that's going to be huge or whatever, but some Gitz going to go out there and blow everybody's head off. So then we go to More Dakka. Now, solo Maz, right? Now, I still think Squighog Boys cost too much. I would have absolutely loved for them to come down. The reason I narrow it down to More Dakka is simply because I want to re-roll Wu. If there's his best ability is that he's going to get Dev Wounds off and his damage potential, he's already hitting on 2s, I'll take that bet. I want him to re-roll wounds because 4+ isn't good enough, and his multiple attacks only being dead from the mount mean I want to re-roll wounds. So there's a chance in More Dakka you can play Mozrog and actually feel a little bit better about him. There's also argument for him in other detachments, but here's one I was talking about. Now, of course, you got the shock attack guns getting some play here. Maybe a crazy Git's going to be like, no brainer, boys, Ghaz, 1 unit, 2 CP. Oh, no, you can't do Ghaz 2 CP anymore. You have, never mind. See, so Dakka is just one of those things where you're going to just have to figure out if you want to play more towards that strength. Warbackers coming down a little bit would be a thing. But yeah, More Dakka, that's where I see it is. Not huge benefits, but at least some. Then we go to Taktikal Brigade. So Taktikal Brigade is the one detachment that I think gained between the changes to Kommandos, the changes to the shock attack guns getting a little bit of points increase. I kind of think Taktikal Brigade was already sitting at like, I'm pretty strong, I'm pretty powerful. You could consider Maz in that detachment. You can consider Ghaz. You get access to fall back and charge, so the enemy has to now extremely prioritize that 20-man unit of boys anymore. That can't say, oh, okay, Maz over. Now they're just some slow dumb unit over there. No, now they're going to fall back and then charge if somebody's still alive, right? If someone's still alive, because Ghaz is in it. But that gives them access to that. Then Ghaz, from what let me double check, but Ghaz doesn't have the Mega Nob keyword himself, does it? No, he doesn't. Looking at the keywords, that means Ghaz can give orders to his 20-man unit of boys, right? So he can give them stealth still. Okay, cool. Helping with that durability, especially if I ended up keeping that pain boy that we spoke about earlier. So even if you're sticking to that Ghaz theme, the Squighog boy theme, the Snick Rot, the the Flash Gitz coming down 10 points, right? All of these little decreases. You lost a couple points here. You gained an extra unit from your Mandos that were probably already on your list here. You gained more viability from a battle wagon, and then the enhancement to redeploy a unit. So there's some viability here in Taktikal Brigade that some cunning get down there still just their gears are going, they're getting ready to figure this out. Then we have Warhorde. Obviously, the mob just gets great strats, always having access to sustain. You're playing for the mobility. You got Here We Go. We talked about Here We Go. We got Follow Me Lad. So you can pop CP on the unit, +2 to advance and charge. You can stick a different character in there, pay 25 points to give Follow Me Lads. Forget the battle wagon. I'm just chucking this unit down the field on the go turn. You ain't stopping me, and if I have a Big Mek in there, I'm running over you. Because I talked about that a lot too. Even though the Big Mek you would think is a dread mob preference, I always say I kind of think that the Big Mek always felt best in Warhorde because I want to be fast to actually take advantage of his ability, since it's really only works useful, in movement, for example. Also, his new ability that he doesn't have to take like the take a desperate escape test and die is nice when it's only down to him and Ghaz and Makari and a couple of Knob or whatever, right? You're like, all right, keep this unit alive. Whoop. Still alive, harder than nails. Fall back. So that's pretty nice. Happy to see that. You can also pay for the enhancement for that if you really wanted to. Then we move to the Hunt, which we actually have some point decreases here. Now maybe they might slip in another unit. The rig changes can actually act as more of a monster fight for primary objective thing in the game, where it's like, well, I'm going to be able to heroic with my Squig unit now. I'm going to be able to diminish what you get into fights with my Squig Hog boys if I have this rig right next to me too. So the rig might become cool in that sense. A little bit more AP, a little bit more viability in that way. Other than that, maybe a Snick Rot might find his way on their list as well, but not too much going on there. And then we have Cult of Speed, the biker cost. Bikers were already at one of those, like, I have a lot of wounds. Some of the Cult of Speed lists that we followed that were going 4-1, maybe even undefeated. Sometimes the units were taking max unit of bikers, max unit of death coptas, and just other fast wounds and pressure, chucking it downfield at you. So bringing down the biker cost even a little bit more might put, for my example, for my buggy list, I ended up upgrading to another buggy. I like buggies, though I'm a weirdo, but very easy that you could just end up saying, well, I'm bringing more bikers and I'm bringing a different units getting upgraded that could do more damage. So I'm happy to see that. Nothing to scoff at with the boys, the war bikers coming down as well. So all of these detachments have something you can look towards, and also Green Tide, right? And put Green Tide on this list because Green Tide has such a low player base, and I don't think Ghaz just being thrown in there to giving them even more expensive stuff will be the answer. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Ghaz will be thrown into a 20-man Green Tide list, and I'm wrong out there. But as for these detachments, I think there's some direct, obvious benefits that you can get from these changes, and that you can look forward to in any of these detachments that you look forward to. So I definitely want people to do that. Be a cunning git and check out our new order markers that are in our store. So shout out to you Gits being cunning. Help you guys get all the orders set on the table, nice and clean for all you Gits to get stuck in. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!